There are moments which mark your life. Moments when you realize nothing will ever be the same, and time is divided into two parts, before this and after this. Sometimes you can feel such a moment coming, and that's the test, or so I tell myself. I tell myself that at times like that, strong people keep moving forward anyway, no matter what they're going to find. Hi. I've been told that there's a handful of you here who were told that I was going to be giving a speech about the most expensive haircut I ever received. And that's not wrong. We'll get to that. My name is Anthony Rogers. I believe that people are the best versions of themselves when they are inspired, when they are supported, when they are served, and when they are empowered. And I stand on the stage today proud to announce that I no longer want to die. It wasn't always that way, and to any objective outside observer, putting the pieces of my current situation together, people might understand why I might want to shuffle off this mortal coil. I have a constant burning electrical sensation in my lower abdomen. Feels like when you lay on your leg just a little too long and it starts to wake up, and it's all pins and needles and fire. It's that way in my abdomen and up my right side all the time, without fail. Yet I continue on, and it's all driven by my before this and after this moment. We all have them. I'm sure there's people in this audience who could point to a point in their lives where something happened and your life was forever changed. Anybody identify with that? A few people? Absolutely. So you know what I'm talking about. But of course, since this is TED, we have to have one, research and science, and two, obligatory audience participation. So by show of hands, how many people in this audience have somebody close to them, somebody in their life who's gone through cancer? Just show of hands. More than I expected. Statistically, 54% of the world's population will know somebody, have somebody close to them who's endured cancer. Anybody want to throw out just a wild guess how many roughly percentage of the world's population will suffer from cancer themselves? 65%? Anybody higher, lower? 30? I hear 30. Anybody else? 70%? 100% given enough time? Well, maybe not cancer, but the inevitable specter of death looms for us all. Yes. So statistically, not 20, not 40, but close. 40.5% of the world's population will have some form of cancer at one point or another in their life. And I like to talk about cancer because I consider it to be one of the most misunderstood diagnoses on the planet. See, in order to really talk about this, I gotta go back in time a little bit. Specifically to Monday, November 9th, 2015. When I woke up at 1 in the morning in the worst pain I've probably felt up to that point in my life. I felt like somebody had wound up and kicked me square between the legs as hard as they possibly could. And when the time came for me to get up about 7 o'clock and roll into work, my wife's like, nope, you're not going to work. I'm taking you to the ER. You've been up all night. You're in constant pain. We're not doing this. Gave me the ultrasounds and all the tests and checked me out, and I heard those words that nobody ever wants to hear. Yes, it's cancer. Yes, it's probably spreading. Yes, we need to get it out right now. Right now turned out to be about 2.5 days. I was in the hospital on that Monday, and on Thursday the 12th, I was on the operating table for my orchiectomy. which I won't get into if you don't know what that is. Look it up, Google's free. So after that surgery, they did the biopsy, and I got to join the ranks of the 40.5%. But cancer, a lot of people think cancer is a disease. It just shows up in different places on your body. It's not curable. It can only be beaten back into remission. It can never actually be cured. There's no cure for cancer. The reality of cancer is that's not what it is. Cancer actually looks a little more like this. A massive classification of a boatload of different diseases. Some of those diseases can be cured. Some of those diseases are incurable, and some of them can only be beaten into remission. There are more cancers with cures available than there aren't at this point. That's also why a universal cure for cancer is probably impractical. Not impossible, I won't rule anything out, but it's impractical. Probably 100 or more of these floating around out there. Many different kinds of cancers, each one with its own unique treatment, and not only that, but each individual with the same cancer will not experience the same kinds of treatment for it, because it's tailored to the individual, the severity of their cancer, etc. So cancer looks very different for everybody. Mine, when they did the biopsy and all the nuts and bolts came out of the woodwork, is testicular choriocarcinoma. And that diagnosis earned me a very special nickname. See, choriocarcinoma makes up less than 0.5% on average of cancers found in men, testicular cancers found in men. And more so, 1% of cancers found in men will be testicular cancer of some form. So choriocarcinoma is roughly 0.5 of a percentage point of that 1%. And this earned me the nickname the purple unicorn, because a statistical impossibility. But here I stand. And that name would come to fruition in more ways than just this down the road. We'll talk about that later. Fortunately, I have a very, very good doctor for cancer, because she had a tie-in with this gentleman. Larry Einhorn is a brain trust of cancer knowledge. Most notably, he cured Lance Armstrong's testicular cancer, who is the same type of cancer that I had. So, in a way, he and I are both purple unicorns, though I cheat far less at sports than he does. Dr. Larry Einhorn's work has saved over 300,000 young men's lives. He is brilliant, and he was behind my treatment. My oncologist had a line in to Dr. Einhorn the entire time I was going through treatment. I owe this man my life, among many others. But it wasn't easy. See, my diagnosis was stage 3C, and those of you who know something about cancer diagnoses know it doesn't get a whole lot worse than that. That means that the cancer had spread via my lymphatic system to multiple places throughout my body, most notably my right lung. There were several nodules there, and a mass about the size of a grapefruit in the area behind my stomach, known as the retroperitoneal area. It was almost squeezing off my vena cava, which is the blood vessel that provides blood to the lower half of your body. So I was in some pretty dire straits. Fortunately, my treatment plan had a percentage of survivability somewhere between 95 and 98%, and a 90% chance to cure it entirely, meaning it's gone forever, it's not coming back. If you get another diagnosis, it's completely separate. So my chances were very good, but it was going to involve multiple surgeries, ended up being 5 of them, and an intense chemotherapy. The second most intense and devastating chemotherapy, second only to a breast cancer treatment known as Red Death. So my fight was going to be intense. The picture on the far left is after my first surgery. Went to Sushi House. Highly recommend if you haven't been. I was rocking at that point somewhere in the neighborhood of 260 to 270 pounds. Pretty hefty dude. By the time we get to the middle picture, where I got my most expensive haircut, that's where my hair started falling out. 1/6 was the day I was admitted to the hospital because I had almost no white blood cells in my body, meaning my body was no longer able to fight infection because the chemo had killed almost all of them. Merry Christmas. I was down to about 230, 240 pounds at that point. And not that I would recommend chemotherapy as a weight loss program, but it was very effective. And then the picture on the far right is me still in the hospital for treatment for neutropenia, where all my blood cells had died. Fortunately, Games Done Quick was that week, and so I had something to keep my mind occupied and not go crazy. I now do regular volunteering with Games Done Quick online. Saved my sanity. But with all that, the worst was yet to come. Granted, I had a lot of good things happening in my life. I had friends and family who would bring meals to the house and drop them off. They had a meal train set up. A company that I work for sent crates of food to my house, had somebody come by twice to help clean the house at times when I was physically incapable of doing it. I had a lot of support. But as the chemo got really bad, about week 2, week 3, I wanted to give up. I didn't want to commit suicide, but I wanted to die. I wanted to stop the treatment, let the cancer do its thing, anything just to make the constant sickness and the taste of all food being ash in my mouth stop. But I made it through. I got through the chemo, started to bolster my spirits, got the lung resection done, and then the worst surgery of the 5, the retroperitoneal lymph node dissection. This is a diagram of the retroperitoneal area. You can see where those lymph nodes are. What you can't see is the nerves that wrap around and layer over those lymph nodes. They had to remove 27 lymph nodes. And many of them had confirmed necrotic cancerous tissue, meaning cancer tissue that had died because of the chemo. And that took a lot of my nerves with it in that retroperitoneal area. That's why I have the burning sensation, the constant neuropathy in my abdomen, and the lung resection, because of how they had to go into my lung to get the cancers out, scraped up all the nerves along my ribs here, so I have that same sensation here as well. The nerve damage caused many years of pain medications I had to be on. Thankfully, right now, my pain regimen is a couple Tylenol twice a day. I've been able to get off everything else, so yay. Love that. But after that, I was able to go back to work a couple months later. Lucky me. But I got a hero's welcome. I was a trainer at the time for a very large mortgage company in Detroit. If you know, you know. And my team greeted me with this, and I tied in with a close friend of mine who was a fellow trainer, and he had developed a program through which I would find my purpose in life, to make as many people as possible feel inspired, supported, served, and empowered throughout the course of my life as I could, which is why I'm here today. That purpose, that meaning, is why I wear this outfit. I became a fount for joy. See, the only way I managed to get through those months of chemotherapy was I became a hope parasite. Anything that would give me the smallest shreds of hope. A good video game with a plot that really inspired me, a piece of music that moved me, a movie that made me feel good, the friends and family members who helped me, who spoke good things into my life, the strangers on the street who told me I looked good, all of that, anything I could. And when I was at my absolute lowest, the one thing that kept me moving was curiosity. As in, what fresh hell awaits me this morning? I don't know, but I gotta live if I wanna see it. So if you hold on to nothing else in your darkest moments, curiosity can be a very strong motivator. So I find my meaning, I find my purpose, I wear things that give me joy. You might have a hard time seeing the lanyard that I'm wearing. This is actually my work lanyard. I wear this every day. And some of the pins that I have on it, I've displayed up here. All of these pins have some special meaning for me. They were given to me by friends or family members or people that I trained at work. They commemorate events that I volunteered for. A lot of Games Done Quick pins on there, you'll notice. Some of them are pins that were designed by friends of mine, actually made pins. So every pin on this lanyard and on my little cork board at home where I keep the ones that don't fit have meaning. Give joy. Give that reminder of that purpose that I have. So now we fast forward to 2024, where a child of mine encouraged and triggered another before this and after this moment for me, and I realized I had neglected a very important piece. See, chemotherapy is traumatic, if you don't know. Sitting there in that chair, feeling that medicine coursing through your body, feeling yourself get sicker and sicker and sicker, it hurts. And as a result, for that reason and many others, I got a PTSD diagnosis. Because I could not drink orange juice without feeling myself sitting back in that chair as that poison made its way through my body, killing all of the fast-growing cells like hair, nails, white blood cells, gone. And that trauma brought me on a mental health journey that has now culminated in me finally being able to enjoy a glass of orange juice without feeling sick, which is good. I love orange juice. It's a wonderful drink. And it's nice to be able to enjoy it again. So if I could give you 4 takeaways from my walk through my before this and after this moments, it would be these. First of all, hold on to every shred of hope that you can and hold on to that curiosity. Sometimes they'll be the only things that get you through the day. Do not neglect your mental health like I did. It will not end well for you or for those you love. Tell your stories. I stand here on the stage and I'm talking about this to you fine folks out here in the audience because I feel that people need to hear these stories. People need to know what it's like. People need to understand and have that empathy for what other people are going through when they're dealing with things like this. And when you pass away, those stories that you told might be the only thing left of you. And hold on to optimism. And remember that optimism isn't an attitude of everything's great, everything's wonderful. It's not blind optimism. It's, yeah, this shit sucks right now, but it'll be better later. And because I'm a quote guy, I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes where I found a lot of meaning. As fragmented, imperfect beings, yours is a never-ending quest. A quest to find your purpose, knowing your end is assured. To find the strength to continue when all strength has left you. To find joy, even as darkness descends. And amidst deepest despair, light everlasting. Thank you. Good night.